What's up, YouTube family? How you doing? This is yours truly, Kofi BARAKA. And now you're witnessing greatness right now. You're watching Kofi Baraka's world. Of course, I'm Kofi Baraka. How you doing? And of course, we're gonna give praises to the one high. Make sure she get the praises. God, thank you for this time. Thank you for the empowerment of life. Thank you for the breath of life. Thank you for being omnipresent. Thank you for just, in the most simplest way, just thank you for just being there for us during the hard times, during the good times, and keeping us humble. Thank you for this episode as well, God. Amara, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. God's first. And of course, you can subscribe, you can like, you can comment, you can click the notification bell and get season 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, this is season 4, episode 7. And this episode is entitled Chosen Ones. Chosen ones, listen to the ancestors. Chosen ones, listen to the ancestors. All right. So this one was on my heart. I said I'm gonna deliver a message. All right. All right. And of course, you can take your joint out right now. And like I said before, support cannabis podcasts, cannabis stations, YouTube channels that support cannabis. Last few hits. It's a bunch of stations I watch. You know, a lot of all deaf, you know what I mean? Support the cannabis. All right. Border culture, 85 South. You know, anything that smoke cannabis, you know what I mean? And that's positive. You know what I mean? All right, so got a couple of points naturally, and of course we got the green candle, we got the Monet, not the money, we got the Monet. We also got the Ogun, we got the Himalayan salt rock, we got Black Buddha for shooter, we got the drum, you know what I mean, Ethiopia, got my ashtray, got my lighter, we good, got the supply. All right, so basically, a lot of times, especially being Aboriginal, you might have grew up in Catholicism, you might have grew up in Christianity, maybe in Islam too. Out of those three, growing up as a kid, I'll probably choose Islam. And I know they all have their things, but you know what I mean, that has a lot of good structure, you know what I mean? Especially for young men and young women, or kings and queens. But basically, looking at three of those theologies, a lot of cases, in terms of the ancestors, it's like, okay, you put your ancestor in the cemetery, 6 feet in the ground, that's it, a tombstone, name, you go there every 2-3 months, change the flowers, go there every year, say hi to grandma, grandpa, whatever. But we're not taught about, as Aboriginal people from Africa, as well as people from this hemisphere, you know, the United States, modern day Canada, modern day South America, modern day Central America, modern day Virgin Islands, all that is our shit. When you look at how they were connected with the lineage of their ancestors, it's amazing. They're more advanced than how we are. We're more novice. You know, they were connected to their ancestors. Their ancestors made sure that they were taken care of. And a lot of times you had good relationships with the ancestors on this plane. Growing up as a child, they might have passed by the time you were an adult. So it would be a waste to not take full benefit of that relationship and to know that they're holding you down from up there, you know what I mean? And also, it's also good to teach the kids as much as they can, as much as you can, about the, as much as they can take, in terms of the knowledge of their ancestors, and even photographs of their great-grandfather, because you never know. These individuals might be taking care of them in the long run, you know what I mean, as well as yourself once you transition. That's why I was really big into Yoruba, because it's really big with the ancestors, you know what I mean? And not to say you gotta dig out every ancestor. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying dig out ancestors that you don't know, but to have some type of familiarity with them, you know what I mean? At least to know that they had good character, they had good morals, they were good people. But we gotta be connected with the ancestors. We have to have an ancestor table with pictures of our ancestors, at least 4 or 5 generations, you know what I mean? Or items that were their possessions at one time. We have to have that, you know what I mean? You gotta start giving libation and saying the ancestor's name. And even when you give the libation, and suppose you give fruit, vegetables, and soda, because you know, like Ogun, certain orishas like soda, like the sweetness. At least they don't get the high fructose corn syrup. So, like when you give libation or you sacrifice or you're giving out to the ancestors, and suppose you got your fruit and you're throwing the fruit in the water base, in the river, in the lake, in the ocean for the ancestors, you're spiritually feeding your ancestors, and you're bridging a connection besides what you could do spiritually in terms of your inner self. As much as giving to them, that shows them like you are attempting, you're trying, you're becoming more powerful as a being, because you're realizing that life is bigger than you. You have God, you have angels, you got orishas, you have benevolent spirits, you have benevolent souls that are watching over you every day. If you saw the 10,000 angels that is fighting the 10,000 demons every day, just for you to have sanity, it will truly make you humble. And we're taught that once the ancestor die, oh, don't pray about them, don't talk about them, don't do this, don't do that. Nah, man, you gotta praise them even more. Because that was God's gift. Even when they transitioned, that life was a gift. Even for your life, it becomes a gift. So now we have to really start teaching our kids, and we have to start teaching ourselves about the ancestors, and not believing the taboo that it is negative. It is not negative. The white man or whoever might say is negative because they cannot connect with the ancestors as far and as deep as we can. We can go to the deepest part, the best, in terms of spirituality, in terms of connection, because of our neuromelanin and because of the DEA that we have in our bodies and the chromosomes that we have and not the autosomes. That's why we can hit that connection, open up our, and even when you open up your pineal gland, you're really open up the force to be able to have prolonged conversations and times with your ancestors. And they're constantly teaching you things about life. Like sometimes it's even in TV, it could be on white shit and you don't even know. I remember a long time ago, there was an episode of California Dreams. I used to love watching this shit when I was a kid. It used to come on NBC. It was a dude, I think he was a drummer, it was a black dude, I think his name was Willie on the show, whatever. I don't know his name. Anywho, he had a dream of his ancestor maybe 4 or 5 generations down. His ancestor was picking cotton, and his ancestor was kicking some real shit to the dude in present day, because the dude in present day was ashamed of him. The dude that was picking cotton was like, yo, I picked this cotton so your great grandma can go to school, who helped your grandma go to college, and who helped your mother get her doctorate, and who helped you live where you live at right now, California, et cetera, et cetera. So it was like I had to do what I had to do, and he's basically telling the character, you have to do what you have to do in present day to make it for the next people, and that's what we have to do. But it's more arduous and hard if we do it the traditional white man way. We have to do it the Aboriginal way. We have to do it our way. And it can be simple too. Just simply asking the elders of our family questions about people that's older than them, and stories about the older people, and just trying to get a connection. Usually try to get people that was in your generation, that know you and you know them, because it'll make it easier, because the other people, the other ancestors might be going for people their generation or even before, to make sure they're holding them down. Or maybe they was holding your grandparents down because they were kids at the time and they saw something in them, you know what I mean? So, and then every ancestor maybe don't make it. Maybe they're in the purgatory. Maybe they go somewhere else. And it doesn't go down like that. So that's what's good to have the Orishas too for support, as well as the ancestors for support. But they all help. You know what I mean? They all help. And that is so important that we're connected to our ancestors, because our ancestors are giving us warning about people, situations, circumstances, food. You know what I mean? They be giving you, they be protecting you, your family. And I would say, honestly speaking, because they know you, I feel like their presence is much stronger. You know what I mean? Like they gonna really hold you down. They're gonna hold you down. They're gonna hold you down. You know what I mean? Also, they give you patience, and they help you with your family that's still living, in terms of, because they know who's good for you, who's not good for you. They will put a blockade to make sure that you can grow as a person, and only put people around you that's only going to be beneficial in your life and help you grow. You know what I mean? Have some type of not only proliferation but maturation in life organically. They will help you get to that next level. So, and they know what you like, and they'll protect you. So it's just like, a lot of times, I had a bad day. Maybe you gotta be connected to the ancestors. I was connected through Yoruba, and then later down the line, I was connected through knowing that I'm an Aboriginal man of this country they call the United States of America, and that my people been here for 10,000 years or so. You know what I mean? And learning that history, and I learned that history through my mother, and she was the one that taught me about, the Indian side, or the Aboriginal side of our family, and how, like in South Carolina, we stayed in swamps. And I really believe that my family always been big with family and ancestors. You know what I mean? I can go back myself. So it's just like, I think that's the most important thing. A lot of times you see a lot of your family in the next generation. I have kids. I see a lot of my siblings. I see a lot of my aunts and uncles, my grandparents, and my kids. So it's like, I feel it's really important to pass that down. We have to. I think you have to do that. You have to tell your kids, your nieces, your nephews, even black kids around the way that's interested and that feel safe around you, and you feel safe around them. Let's tell them about just the ancestors. You know what I mean? Quick combo. Tell niggas your peer group so they can do it. You know what I mean? And that's the end of episode 7, season 4 of Kofi Baraka's World. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the show. Have a good week. Stay warm. Try to get some grounding in. It's the last month of really grounding. If you are serious grounding, maybe next month might be the last month. Get your grounding in. Get your candles going. Get your incense, you know what I mean? Get the dragon blood popping, you know what I mean? Get your medicine. And of course, to my woke ones, peace and growth. Peace and growth in terms of knowing your ancestors. All right, last toke for those who can't smoke. And like I always say, I love you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next dimension.